Okay, let's do this in 3, 2, 1. It's Thrive time. Hi beautiful people, welcome back to Thrive Out Loud. Hi. But anyway, I also have a lot to do, so I figured why not multitask. I'm trying to look a little bit cute, not too much, a little bit. Gonna be doing my makeup, nothing drastic, just a little bit. But today, something was important on my heart. I'm a motivational speaker. Something was important on my heart today, and it's a conversation I normally have within my circles, but I realized I've never really had the conversation with you guys. Just saw my brows. Today I wanted us to talk about parenting, and not just the surface level stuff. This is not part of any drill. It's not rehearsed. It's not like it was not on my plan, because I could by now you know my schedule that I talk about parenting and motherhood and whatnot on Mondays. But this is not part of that motherhood or diary of a mom shandies that I normally do on Mondays. I really wanted us to talk about, like, what are we planning on doing differently as this generation of parents? Because a lot of us are now parents or on our way to becoming parents, or you know someone who's a parent who's really close to you, and I'm just really curious on what we're trying or planning on doing different, because it appears to me that this vicious cycle keeps on repeating itself, and it's so sad. And not just sad on the surface level, but it's so sad because we keep saying we're a woke generation and whatnot, that, you know, we won't repeat the same mistakes our parents made. We are conscious people, conscious parents, and we are in therapy and we know what's what. But like, how is all of that affecting our kids? I'll give a bit of a backstory. If you're new to the channel, I'm so sorry, it's unfortunate. But for those who have been with the channel from the time it was born, a couple of months ago actually, I shared a little bit, actually a lot. I shared about what it was like, or the journey I had with, you know, the type of mother I had, the unpleasant childhood I had, and a lot of things that went wrong that I felt like were really unnecessary, especially from a child's point of view or perspective. And I shared really openly about them. And the reason I'm saying it's unfortunate if you're new is because those videos have been unlisted, and the only reason I have unlisted them or made them private, they're still there, you just can't see them in jail willy-nilly. The reason I made them private is the fact that I believe that was necessary for my healing at that point. I needed to speak out. I felt the need to just say it and let it and set it free. But also came to the realization that I've got siblings. I've got 2 brothers, and they experienced my mother in a very different day and age. They experienced a different version of my mom, and it's not up to me to make them see what I experienced. It's not even, they don't even have to see it because they don't know that side of her. But I realized that it's probably not fair to just wake up one day and should the videos trend, then one day there's a video that's talking about your mom, and it's all the things you've never known about your mom, but it's obviously things that now force you to look at your mom in a different light. So I didn't want to be responsible for that. If they want to experience their mom how they want to experience her, that's fine. It's not up to me to change that or to edit it or whatever. So the main reason for unlisting them was that. And of course, as I stated, I felt like the reason when I was recording those videos, because it was quite a couple of them, about 3, 4, 5, yeah, probably like 5 videos or so. I felt like during that time, I felt an urge, man. I felt an inkling somewhere deep down in my bosoms. Hori, you need to say something. Speak out. You never know who's going through the same thing, but more than everything, for you. Like, speak out for you. Because for years, I kind of ran away from the issue. For years, I kept it to myself, wouldn't tell my relatives or cousins what was going on. A majority of our relatives just knew the surface level stuff. We know how my mother is, and therefore, all we can do is assume. But I had never really spoken out in detail or in depth or what actually happened and what led to me essentially, I'd say, running away from home, because one day I left and I never came back, and that was it. But obviously you also have to be a responsible adult, and I'm not trying to like hurt my siblings in any way, and so that's why I removed it. But I don't mean to ramble, I don't mean to dwell on that, but the gist of that was I grew up in a very toxic, we had a very toxic relationship with my mom. One that had a lot of verbal abuse, had a lot of psychological abuse, one that had a lot of rejection, a lot of abandonment, and just a lot of typical black family stuff, where you have a child as a teen, then you leave your child to be raised by your mother while you go back to school, and then you basically create a life of your own outside of your child, and connecting with the child might be a problem. And instead of taking additional steps to try and remedy that relationship that, was just tainted with a lot of potholes, you expect the child to just gel into it and understand, but that's not always the case, which made me wonder.
Because now we are healed and woke.
Which made me wonder, Hore, like, how often do we operate from a position of expecting that our kids get it, or that our kids are grown and they should just understand certain things, or like life is so and the child should just understand? How often do we operate from that mindset? And I'll tell you why I'm asking this. I just need to get this right, and it's dribbling me. I'm dribbling. But anyway, but I asked that because my son is currently 2 to 3, our daughter's 3 to 4, and there's so many instances where maybe you've sleep trained a child and you expect to know they're sleep trained, they know what to do, and then they go through a growth spurt, a sleep regression, and it's very easy to get mad and think, oh, but the child now because you and I are way past the stage. I don't know if anyone has ever experienced this, but story of my life. And as a parent, I felt like, but I did my part, bro, just sleep. But the child doesn't know what to do, and they depending on you to show them what to do. And it's so easy to lean out instead of leaning in. So as a parent, it's so easy to, by lean out, I mean, instead of being there for your child and supporting them through what they're going through, you depend on your emotions, or you lean into your emotions, and you expect the child to just figure stuff out on their own, which could be detrimental. Not you cutting my grass right now, bro. Are you serious? Is this man serious? The reason for my video today, I just wanted to understand, because I've heard the saying that hurt people, and now in my healed version, I understand that the reason my mom was the way she was is probably because she was hurt from something she has never set out or said or let out. She was probably suffering from something. Something hurt her, and all she knew was how to operate from a position of hurt. It doesn't change the fact that she did what she did and she mothered me somehow, and now I was sideways. I'm just saying we cannot take away from that. But in that and in knowing that, what kind of parents are we turning into, you know? Because these things I'm telling you, also she has never told me herself like what her problem is. I'm just speculating based on my journey on healing. I'm just speculating. But I know the times when I am a really hurtful human being are times when I am operating from a position of hurt. A point where when I'm hurt, I don't know how to make someone else happy if I'm hurt. And I'm figuring that's what happened. But that's not about her. Remember, I'm just giving highlights.
Because I get we're not bashing the other hand.
But it just makes me wonder, our generation, our now generation of parents, like what kind of parents are we turning into, and what are we willing to do different? Like what is it that you are willing to do different as a parent when looking at the way you were parented and raised? What are you willing to do different? What are you willing to change? What are you willing to learn? What are you willing to unlearn? Like what? I think the Malume has gone, but I still pose that question to you as a parent, an aunt, a friend. Maybe you're expecting right now. What is it that you will be doing differently in your parenting journey? Okay, this Malume is not giving me a chance, and this video is it's now becoming annoying because I'm struggling to get the message out. But in your journey dealing with people, let me not limit it to parenting, but in your journey of dealing with people, different kinds of people, how are you doing life differently compared to the previous generation that broke us to tatters, to absolute pieces? How are you doing life differently, and what is it that you have picked up on that, you know what, I need to stop doing this, I need to start doing this, because when I do things this way, this is what happens and the repercussions are not cute? And how are we doing life differently? Are we repeating our parents' same mistakes? Are we walking into the same traps, the same shoes, the same path and the same route? Or is there something we're doing differently? It's very easy to repeat cycles. It's very easy to think, no, you're not repeating a cycle, while you in fact are walking straight into those pair of shoes that they wore walking that mile. And I think it's only in really confronting ourselves that we can start doing the bigger work, the homework that we all need to do for ourselves. What are you doing differently as a person? When a situation comes up, is it always the other person's fault? How do you take accountability for your part in situations? What is your contribution to situations? How are you helping a situation? How are you making it worse? And once you start questioning yourself this way, I felt like in my relationship specifically, once I started questioning myself this way, the arguments went from that to like this little bit. Now it's not even arguments, it's like because I really want to ask myself, how am I making this situation better? How am I making the situation worse? And why is this one bigger than the other? And how can we make them meet in between? So in your life walk, in your life journey, and in anything and everything that you do, before we can like really delve deep into the really deep stuff about how you are a traumatized human being and you deserve to be understood, or how you really are just sensitive and you just need people to hear you, or how you feel so unheard, so unseen, or how when you are misunderstood and trauma. Like, before we can get there, let's start with you. Like, how are you walking in your life journey? What steps are you taking to become a better human being? And how are you impacting the people around you? I centered it around parenting because for me, that has been the biggest way in which I got to like get stopped dead in my tracks and realize that this is actually wrong. This is actually wrong. Before I had a baby, I would throw my toys around all the time, man. I'd throw tantrums like no one's business, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay to get emotional and act out of the impulse of the emotions I was feeling, and I thought it was okay. And only after having a baby, where you realize you have to control your voice, you have to unlearn the things you know and believe about yourself and life. You have to find better ways to communicate with another human being, because here's a person who doesn't talk, he cannot reason, he cannot defend himself if you decide to do anything to him. He's literally just there doing life the best way he knows how, and he's exploring. And I believe parenting or having kids is one way in which you learn all that's wrong with yourself before you can start dealing with the next person. You learn all that's wrong with yourself. I learned that I am not a very patient human being. I'm working on it. But I learned that I am a very impulsive and angry human being. I learned that I have a problem with not being heard. I have a problem with repeating myself. And I have a problem with a person doing what I asked them not to do. Those look like very, very, very small details. You're like, yeah, but all of us, we expect or hacker stop or stop. But kids don't get it. And I realized how I would get so frustrated and triggered if I would tell my son a thing once, twice, 3 times. Hore, it's not a thing he's doing to make me angry or trigger me. I'm triggered already, and I need to learn how to unlearn that. It's a thing I need to unlearn. It's a thing I need to work towards. And only when I started seeing him as the little boy that he is, he has no idea what you're saying. He has no idea where to find what you want. He has no idea how to put the stuff together. He's learning. And if you put yourself in his shoes and you both learn at the same time, then you're able to extend empathy and talk a little slower, a little softer. And I realized that my baby boy is not that much of a terrorist after all. He is a little bit, but not that much. If you speak to him really nicely, he gets it. But if you want to be frazzled and bedazzled and you're trying to be a diva, you. So that's just one of very many instances where I got stopped dead in my tracks and I was forced to confront myself. So I'm posing it to you. What is it that you're doing with your kids, with your friends, with your family, with your lover that it's just not working? What is the biggest trigger you've discovered about yourself and it comes from this specific person? What is the one thing that you say, you know, when this person does this, it drives me mad? And then once you have that answer, why does it make you so mad? Why does it trigger you so much? Why does it trigger you so much? Why is it so much of a trigger? Is it that this person is going out of their way to hurt you and trigger you? Or is it the way you're receiving it? And then once we get to that point, how are you making the situation better? How are you making the situation worse? I realized that my makeup is not done. I'm just quickly gonna go finish off my foundation and contouring and my lashes off camera. I just quickly wanted us to have this mini chat. In the work, in the world, in your life journey, what's your contribution to the stuff that's going right and the stuff that's going wrong? What's your part in it, and which part of it is learned behavior? Okay, I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Please remember the house rules, and here we like, we comment, we subscribe, click on the bell notification. And I hope by now you've brought a friend, because sharing is caring. And if you keep on coming to these family lunches alone, till better days, I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.